the simulation theory. I'm gonna shed some light on what I think about it. So what makes me think, okay, that we possibly are living in a simulation is you have to think of things, and I understand a lot of people out there won't understand, and it's okay, you think you do, but you're not qualified. You're qualified because of the position that you're in, okay? What you went and studied and all that stuff, you're qualified to say that, apparently, okay? If you are not familiar with computers, like a lot of these people aren't and stuff, you have no idea what I'm talking about, okay? However, take everything I say as a grain of salt, but this is my theory on the whole computer simulation thing, or the simulation theory that we're living in a simulation. Okay, so the way it works for a way I think, and this is the reason why I shouldn't smoke marijuana. My therapist told me this too, so I think marijuana is turning me into a nut job or something. I don't know. I'll just say that I think I'll say that for the end. Thank you. Let's get into this whole simulation theory, or my thoughts on it. All right, so let's talk about the universe, for example. Right, the universe. All right. So how was the universe really created and stuff, right? So if we talk about a god, right, like the god we think of, that's supposedly a good god, a loving god, and all that stuff. I don't want to talk about religion, but just hear me out, okay? Hear me out, because I'm just saying, I'm not gonna talk about religion and try to convert you or anything. I'm just using this as an example because this is what religious people believe. Okay, so all right, so religious people believe that a god created us. I think that's a possibility that a god did, but hear me out though on what I think about a god. I strongly feel, okay, that it's a possibility that we are a software that was developed by some entity outside of our realm, right? And this would be one of the reasons why it took the so-called billions of years for the universe to be created and everything to form just right. This is where I'm saying that, like, if you don't know anything about computers when it comes to developing software and stuff, it's not something you can do in a few months. I mean, you can if it's a small project, but let's take a big project. The only biggest project that I know of is operating systems. Microsoft, Linux, Unix, Mac OS, which is basically a Unix-based operating system. Anyways, if you know anything about those operating systems, that's something that takes a while to develop. Literally, look how long it took Microsoft to build their operating systems, man. It probably, see, the reason why it's taken Microsoft and some of these other operating systems to build what they're building is because they're using code that's just basically adding on to something that's already built. So they're just adding on to it. They're not building a new operating system. They're using stuff from the old days. Like, for example, Windows. I'm gonna just say Windows, like Windows 10, Windows 7, are, from what I remember, I think if I'm right, they're both Windows NT. I think if I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong on that. And if I am, hey, it's okay that I'm an idiot. Then we already know that I'm an idiot for talking about this stuff. But anyways, they're not freshly made. Some of it's actually freshly made, but the majority of it was from older versions of it that have been built up upon stuff. So with that being said, it's a big project to develop, especially we're talking about like our existence, right? And like I said, a project like ours would be like to create everything that we see in this reality that we talk about would likely be something that took a long time, which is why it's likely that it took a billion years for things to settle, just so that the creator of us, right, which would be whether it's the software developers that are outside of our realm, because think of it, right? A lot of people, they just say you're nuts and stuff, and hey, that's okay, man. But I have an open mind. I don't have a closed mind that somebody tells me that I have to think what they think and stuff. I'm just thinking about stuff. So, anyways, with that being said, though, the whole thing on the simulation part. Okay, I'm getting kind of sidetracked here, so this is where things kind of go downhill for me and whatnot. But anyways, I might be jumping off from something. I apologize, because like I said, anyways, um, so I'll give you an ideal why I think some reasons why we are likely living in a simulation, though, is because anybody who plays video games, right? When we're talking about creating a video game, right? We're talking about creating something, right? How do we know? How do we actually know that the video game that was made, right? Let's say, for example, Maple Story, right? We'll just say Maple Story. Some of these MMORPG games, maybe even, let's just say Grand Theft Auto, right? Grand Theft Auto Online. In these games where there are so-called AIs, right? They're little virtual characters that are in game that walk around and they talk and do all kinds of stuff in the games, right? Here we are. We do things in the video games, where we kill civilians and stuff in the game. How are we to know, right? How are you or I to know that those AIs in that video game are not like us in a way? They might be on a different type of thing, but they actually might be something that we are killing, right? Just like the people, the entities, not people. The entities outside our realm are the same ones that have programmed us to do what we do, right? And I think there's a possibility that a lot of us might actually be crazy, right? We actually might be crazy, or we are able to have an open mind to the possibility, right? That we are likely a software that was made by something else in our outside our realm that's controlling us, right? That is deciding what moves are made, or maybe the ones that have actually decided to accept the possibility of a simulation type thing is that we actually might be a glitch in the software. There actually might be a lot of glitches in our software, our programming that was made, that is causing us to not function correctly, which is the reason why a lot of software developers and whatnot, they have to release updates, patches and whatnot, because the operating system becomes unstable or there's a bug in it that needs to be fixed, which is why you're always getting those Windows updates, because there's a vulnerability in it that's being exploited by hackers, right? And also other related bugs and stuff that might be in the actual code itself. So it might actually take a while for our so-called creators to try to figure out where our bug is in our simulation or in our code, so that we can be maybe patched or fixed somehow, or we could possibly be broken from the possibility of us ever being fixed. Okay, so here's another thing. If I could try to remember what the heck I was just gonna say and stuff. It's like right now, it's like the software that developed me and stuff is kind of like trying to keep me from like telling you what I was gonna say and stuff, man. And yeah, okay, here's what it was, right? Let's talk about video games again. Oh God, here goes those the games again. Alright, just hear me out again, okay? Video games. Video games, they come and go. Years these video games exist online, and then unfortunately times change and newer video games come out. So those older video games, right? Let's say World of Warcraft, Grand Theft Auto, where it's a multiplayer type thing. You can go online and meet a whole bunch of people and yada yada yada. And then it shut down. So when it shuts down, the game is gone forever. All the stuff that was there is now gone. Maybe a few people have it that were developers, or it was destroyed. That might actually be the same case for us one day. That our creator, which we talk about, the religious people talk about, the creator is going to destroy all this stuff one day, which would make sense because, you know, our programmer, which people say is God, well, a God is actually a creator or something. So technically, if you can create something, you're considered a God. A lot of people say that's not true. Mainly a lot of religious people would say that, but that is like my whole thought on that. And a lot of people, hey man, it's okay that you know, most people would disagree with that, and hey man, that's a great thing that we can agree to disagree about certain things, man. But anyways, I just wanted to share that theory of mine, my own theory, not something I read online, but it's a possibility. A lot of people say that's not. At the same time, I think to myself, though, man, like heaven, though, just to me, heaven kind of sounds, I don't know, it sounds like a good idea. Then the thought process of never existing again, you know, it just kind of, it's kind of overwhelming, which is why it's something you gotta try to enjoy it. Why it lasts, because you never know when the programmer or when the software is gonna wipe you out. You know what I mean? And even then, you know, you have no control over what you do. A lot of people think that they do have control. Unfortunately, I don't think that is, because a lot of stuff that happens because it was meant to happen. Stuff that's not meant to happen doesn't happen to begin with. And people would argue with that, but to me, that's what I believe because of how crazy I am in my head. But I strongly believe that everything happens for a reason, and it's meant to happen if it's meant to happen. And there's nothing you can do to change that. It's one of those things we call destiny. You know what I mean? It's something that you have no control over. It's like if you weren't meant to die, when you die, you wouldn't die to begin with. You know what I mean? That's something that could have been prevented. I mean, you could just live forever if that was the case, but no, that's something that's meant to happen. Like all these people that go out, they go to parties, they do a bunch of stuff, and they get shot. They say, oh, well, that could have been prevented. No, it could not have been prevented, because if it could have been prevented, it wouldn't have happened to begin with. So, yeah, that's my whole thought on that whole rant and whatnot. But anyways, man, that's basically my rant on the whole simulation theory. Now, I just want to say real quick that there's a high possibility that my psychiatrist or somebody else is likely going to come across my video. Maybe not, though, but you never know. They already know that. My therapist says that I'm delusional, is what I am. Delusional, and I forgot what else she said I am. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just like there's a bug in my coding from the programmers that coded me and stuff. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But that's it, man. I just want to say real quick before I end this video, man. I hope you guys out there that watch this video and stuff, hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving, and also maybe a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's and stuff and all that stuff. Probably, obviously, be, you know, years, months after I've uploaded this video, you know, if anybody even watches it at all, because most people, they don't care about my videos at all. Maybe one day they might actually take off and stuff, maybe. But anyways, I'm going back to Maple Story now. I wanted to share that simulation theory with you guys, and that is basically my rant. I hope you guys enjoyed that rant.